All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Karkadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the overlay preachers, swearing the truth and sincerity on the brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone. Arizona Camp Well with another video to edify. And I wanted to make a quick lesson going into this, video with Captain Tazariot. And I'll start off by saying this, man. I ain't gonna say he did a bad job. For the most part, I believe he did a good job. I probably got to like 3/4 of the video, and for the most part, he was hitting. The only fucking problem is, stop fucking saying Christ. You use the name of the Lord within the first 3/4 of the video, maybe one time. And stop being afraid to just give out strict judgment, man. We set up as judges in this earth. They ask you a very specific question. Simple as that. You could have just told them, according to the law, that person would be put to, would be stoned. And that's it. But you did a lot of tiptoeing. But outside of that, man, I wanted to address one of the things that the dude is saying. Because this is where Christians, this is where the average person that tries to push their morality on the Lord, this is where they get a disconnect, right? But like one of my favorite scriptures is, let them know thee, O Lord, as we have known thee, right? So the world is going to be reacquainted with exactly how the Lord does judgment. And that happens now in these times, right? And the prophets are here in these last days to tell you these judgments before they come, so you know who they're coming from. Right? You can't put what's coming on this earth to another God, because the Lord sent his prophets to tell you what he was going to do beforehand. So let's get into this.
Poverty, starving children. Here you have Christ who turned water into wine. He multiplied the loaves and the fishes to feed the 5,000. Yet you have millions of children that are starving to death. And Christ is sitting on the throne up in heaven. He's just watching the earth as we're waiting for his and the fishes to feed the 5,000. Okay. Let's say if it's not essay, let's say it's just poverty, starving children. Here you have Christ who turned water into wine. He multiplied the loaves and the fishes to feed the 5,000. Yet you have millions of children that are starving to death. And Christ is sitting on the throne up in heaven. He's just watching the earth as we're waiting for his return to start a new heavens and a new earth. That is what even Black Hebrew Israelites are waiting for. Christ to return and bring about stop evil.
No, I'm not. I'm not waiting for Christ to return. This is Luke, New Testament.
And we are waiting. That's I got to listen to whatever he said next, but we are waiting for the Lord to return. We do what the Lord says, and we're waiting for his return. It says, wait ye upon me until the day that I rise up to the prey. Right? But this whole sense of morality that people try to put on the Lord, like that he has to function on your time and how you move, how you think, for him to be a righteous power. Who the hell are you? This is Romans chapter 9 and 11. For it says, I'll start it because he wanted to talk about children and poverty. Well, the law, when you go back to the law, and that's this whole atheist, agnostic, whatever he wants to call himself, that's his whole gripe, is that if the Lord is righteous and the Bible is righteous, why is it poverty and kids starving? Well, in the law, it tells you that, when you glean a field, you're supposed to leave the corners, the four corners. When you see the poor down on his luck, you're supposed to sit here and help him out if he's of your people. But Esau set up a system where all those things are taken away, so you gotta live with these things, right? We have to go through this stuff. We have to understand this, and really, it's the Lord's will. At the end of the day, that's what you got to understand, and that's what this lesson is going to touch on. This is the true will of the Lord. This is Romans 9 and 11. It says, for the children, I'll start at 10. It says, and not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done good or evil, right? Talking about Jacob and Esau. Neither one of them did good or evil, right? Because they hadn't been born yet. That the purpose of the Most High, according to the election, might stand, not of works, but of him that called it. So it didn't matter about anything that they could do. The Lord picked it according to his will. It says, it was said unto her. Is that what I wanted? You know what? I'll just jump down. It says, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, as is written, Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. And this is what the Lord determined well before. Now, when you jump down to the 20th verse, it says this. Started at 18. It says, therefore, he had mercy on whom he had mercy, and on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he harden it. Thou wilt say then unto him, what doth he yet find fault? Why doth he yet find fault? And this is this dude's sentiment. This is a lot of people's sentiment. If the Lord predetermined these actions, why does he find fault? Because he can. He made you to be hated. The scriptures tell you the Lord made one vessel to wrath, and one vessel to honor. Even for the same cause, he rose up Pharaoh, that he may show forth his power. The Lord allows everything this earth to happen that happens. Yahushua covered it. He said a sparrow doesn't fall to the ground unless the Lord said so. He's got it down to that precise science. It says, verse 19, it says, thou wilt say then, why doth he yet find fault? Who have resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against the Most High? Shall a thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? So who are you to reply against the Lord and act like his judgments is off and wicked, with you being so damn wicked? It's Isaiah 55. And this dude tried to say in the video, if you watch it, he tried to sit here and say that we don't need the laws of the Bible. Right? His thing was society progressively changes to meet the needs of morality, and that's a bullshit ass lie. Because the means of morality sits there and says a man could be with a man and a woman could be with a woman, but look at what that's produced, right? The amount of disease and mental health that's rampant in that subsection of society. Right, this Isaiah 55 and 8. It says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, said Yahweh. And that's what the world is going to have to come to the grips with. The Lord don't move, nor think, nor judge like you. Right? There's a whole level of judgment that we, being in the flesh, can't even fully understand. Right? You don't know what somebody did in their past lives. That's an aspect that people don't talk about in these Christian churches. Right? That's something that you would have to go into the scriptures to understand about Yahushua. Because it said if he transgress, talking about Solomon, it said if he transgress, he shall be beaten with the stripes of man. Well, Solomon committed idolatry. Was he beaten with the stripes of man while he was Solomon? No. But he was done that way when he came back as Yahushua, because he had to pay for not only his sins, but ours as well, his former sins. He had no sins in that current life, but he had some from a past life, and we all pay. The scriptures say even unto the third and fourth generation, these things the Lord gets you. He's a sniper. Right? It says, verse 9, it says, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, and so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And that's what you got to understand. The thoughts of the Lord are far above. Right? He might be getting you for F-ups that you did 2 generations ago. F-ups that you did in this lifetime, but he's getting you. For as the rain cometh down in the snow from heaven, it returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth in bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that go forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. It shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. The Lord has a full range of how far he can go. And he don't have to answer nobody. The Lord wasn't taught of judgment and righteousness from you. He gave you the blueprint. This Isaiah 45:6 says, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. And the Lord even covered the poor when he came. He said, you have the poor always with you. Right? Yahweh said that himself in the New Testament, you have the poor always with you. Come serve me. Right? The Lord makes poor, he makes rich. It says it is a little thing for the Lord to make a poor man on a sudden rich. This ain't no special deep insight that these people have. No, when you really understand how the Lord gets down, he has the power to do it. And just like anybody would. You make a movie, you get to pick the characters, you get to pick their backstories, their temperament, how they behave. Well, the Lord did the same thing when he made the earth. He said, through me alone they were created, and by me shall they be ended. He said, before all these things were put into motion, the stars of heaven, the earth, the motions, the planets, all this stuff, before that, and before men were put on this earth that would store up faith, right? The believers were put on this earth. The Lord considered all these things. He knew exactly who was going to be made to be the wicked and play the wicked of the world, and what he would do with them in the end. It's Isaiah 40:13. It says, who had directed the spirit of Yahweh, or being his counselor had taught him. So this whole sentiment of the Lord's morality matches yours. It's a very arrogant, and this dude has an arrogant ass face on. And everybody that comes with this mindset always has the same arrogant air about them. For you to believe that the Lord has to follow your morality to be considered omnipotent or a just God is ridiculous. Look at the shit that niggas do to each other every day. Why would he have to sit here and follow your morality? People are through, man. Who did the Lord ask counsel from? Did you teach him righteousness, or did he give you the aspects of righteousness to view? Genesis, the 15th chapter, and 14. And this is how cold the Lord's judgment is. Right? This is Genesis 15 and 13. It says, and he said to Abraham, of a surety that thy seed shall be strangers in a land that is not theirs. Right? Talking about Egypt. And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Talking about Egypt. And also that nation whom they shall serve. You see, the Lord knew it all the time. He let it happen. Will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. That's how cold the Lord's judgment is. And it's going to be done in New Egypt all the same, man. This is Revelation 6. Because there's laws in the scriptures that are planned just for this time. Even these Edomites blessing the sword, the Lord covered it himself. He said, when you go back into Genesis, I think that's the 25th chapter, it goes into his blessing. By thy sword shalt thou live. Right? Well, what does it say in the book of Matthew? It says, he that liveth by the sword shall perish by the sword. So his blessing, even this devil's blessing, was a setup from the Lord from the beginning. Revelation 6 and 11, it says, I started 10, it says, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Yahweh, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest a little for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. You see, the Lord has a certain lot of the believers that He has set up to die on His side. Everybody got a role. Everybody got a lot. We don't know which one it is. We hope that the Lord gives us a spirit to bear whatever it is. But that doesn't make the role wicked. That doesn't make the Lord wicked. It's just His plan. You got to fall into the plan. Job is a perfect example, man. You think Job bucked up after he was getting fucked up by the Lord? No. It said Job didn't offend with his words. As much hell as he was catching, he didn't offend with his words. This is Revelation 18. Right? Going into the judgment that the Lord has set up for these devils. Revelation 18 and I'll just get to the point. Verse 24, it says, "In her was found the blood of the prophets," talk about Babylon the Great, "and of the saints, and of saints, and of all that were slain upon the earth." So in this place is found the blood of the prophets, the saints, and all that was slain upon the earth. And all it's talking about is the Israelites. Right? Scripture say the other nations are as a small dust of the balance. They count it as less than nothing. Right? In this place is found the blood in the saints. But when you go back into the law, and you go to Revelation, the 3rd chapter. I believe that's the 3rd chapter, where it tells you he that killeth by the sword must be killed by the sword. He that stealeth, put a man in captivity, he must go into captivity. Well, when you go to the law, Exodus the 21st chapter, this is how cold the Lord's judgment is. In 16 it says, "And when the Lord comes, He gonna find us in this devil's hand." It says, "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death." And that's what's coming. This is how the Lord's judgment works. He might let some stuff slide, right? Because He's long suffering. But when it's time to swing the gavel of judgment, the Lord don't miss. Right? But I just wanted to make a quick lesson on that. Lord willing was edifying. I'm going to say shalom.